Right, I put a poll up on YouTube maybe 2 months ago, I'm not sure, asking which are people's preferred valves for their tubeless setup. Essentially, what it boils down to is all of these do exactly the same job and they do them equally well. There's no real difference or advantage between having this one over this one. As you will, I'm sure, know that a lot of them started including valve core removers, and now recently, I don't know if you can see this one on here, but this newer versions quite often now have grooves in them for when you want to use them with tire inserts, so it allows the sealant and the air to get in rather than be blocked by an insert right up against it. So essentially they all do the same job. It all comes down to what kind of color you want, or if you want to bother with color. Before we had tubeless valves, nobody ever really cared about what color the valve was on there. They might have put different colored dust caps on or something every now and again, but at the end of the day, nobody really cared. So it really comes down to which brand has got the color that you fancy. You can buy cheap, brightly colored ones on eBay, Amazon, whatever. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. They all do the same job. I mean, you can see here a little difference that the muck-off one comes with a square bung, and the PT's one just comes with a round one, so probably makes that a bit easier to see if I do it that way. So the idea is that this is supposed to be for rims with a sort of a flat profile inside, and then this for a round one. But at the end of the day, the idea of this is that it's supposed to go down inside that hole, and there's not a square hole, so I don't really think that makes any difference. At the end of the day, it's about adding a bit of colour really, and I suppose it comes down to which of these manufacturers has got the colours that you like. You can buy the pretty straightforward ones as well on eBay, Amazon. They all do the same job. This is the original PT's ones I got, and as you can see, I actually managed to snap that. But these were the very early ones from PT's, and they were made slightly differently, and you can probably see the difference here is that non-threaded bit used to be a bit longer than it is now, and that was a weak point in the design, and I actually snapped that off while frantically pumping the tire up on a trail. So yeah, so they replaced those, and PT's have been quite good to me actually with a few other bits and pieces, so I am a bit of a fanboy. Yeah, just one sort of final tip. I always carry, because I snapped one, I always carry a spare. As a mountain bike guide, I've carried spares in a little pouch that I always have with me anyway in my bag. Got spare valve cores and everything, but I actually one day decided I'd actually carry a spare valve because it didn't take up any space, and it's actually got me out of a hole. So I snapped that on the trail. Not a big deal, just managed to sort of like prise the top half of the tire off, get a new one in, put this in place, pump it up, which meant I didn't have to use a tube or anything like that. So yeah, really up to you, but a bit of advice: carry a spare one as well as a spare valve core. You heard it here first. I've finished.